And a good morning to you. Welcome inside the Bottom Line. Lanny Ford along with you. Flying solo today. Bill Bender will join me about 8:15, and we'll take a look at some college football. Don't know if you caught any last night. It was really nice to have college football back on. Let's just say that, because I've missed it. And there were some good games. Of course, I told you yesterday the game that I was going to watch was going to be, I was going to flip a little bit, but I wound up not flipping because it turned out to be such a good game, and that was West Virginia and Pitt. Desmond Howard had picked Pitt to be in the Final Four. Well, they're going to have to get better, not taking anything away from West, by God, Virginia, but Pitt 38-31 and pulled that one in the end. That was not the way the game kind of played out. Keaton Slovis, who's the new quarterback at Pitt, Slovis is the new quarterback at West Virginia. And, of course, J.T. Daniels, the new quarterback, used to be at Georgia, is at Pitt. 38-31 was your final score on that one. Oklahoma State over Central Michigan, 58-44. Wake beat VMI 44-10, no surprise there. Akron over St. Francis of Pennsylvania in overtime, 30-23. Tennessee all over Ball State, no surprise there, 59-10. Central Florida beat South Carolina State, 56-10, no surprise there. Florida International went to overtime with Bryant as they beat them 38-34 in overtime. Toledo over Long Island University, 37-0. Penn State over Purdue, 35-31. That one's a little closer than I thought. I thought I was going to get to watch some of that, but couldn't quite pull away from the Pitt West Virginia game. Northern Illinois beat Eastern Illinois 34-27. UAB 59. Alabama A&M nothing. It was Missouri 52-24 over La Tech. Minnesota beat New Mexico State 38-0. Arizona State over Northern Arizona 40-3. Fresno State over Cal Poly 35-7. And San Jose State beat Portland State 21-17. Your lineup for tonight, if you're not at high school football, I'm going to be at high school football tonight. Western Michigan at Michigan State at 7 on the Deuce. Eastern Kentucky at Eastern Michigan on ESPN3. It's Virginia Tech at Old Dominion on the U. And then another ESPN3 game. It's William and Mary at Charlotte, their home opener. Took a loss last week. All of those games are 7 o'clock start times. Temple at Duke at 7:30 on the ACC network. Tennessee Tech at Kansas at 8 on the Big 12 and ESPN+. It's Illinois at Indiana. And I want to say Indiana's a favorite in that game. I'm not really buying that. 8 o'clock, Fox Sports South on that one. And it is TCU heading to take on the Buffaloes of Colorado. That's at 10 on ESPN. I'll take a look at some Friday night football and some previews. We'll get that pulled up for you. See who we got in the house this morning. Richie, good morning. Adam McCall, good morning. Milton, good morning. I was a bit underwhelmed by Pitt, said Richie. I was too, Richie. Was surprised at the Oklahoma State game. Pitt got a lot of work to do if they're going to be a Final Four. I didn't see it. And then I'm here again, I'm not taking anything away from West Virginia. Okay, not taking anything away from West Virginia. Let me give you some Friday night previews courtesy of HobbsDailyReport.com. If you need some information on games, high school area, Chris has got it over there, HobbsDailyReport.com. It's Newton at Hickory tonight. 1-1 are the records for those two. I think in our picks, I picked Hickory, if I'm not mistaken. Saint at Maiden. Both those teams 1-1. Maiden coming off a hard loss last week at Watauga in the waning minutes of that. The teams did not play a year ago, according to Chris. The Indians are 4-13-1 at Maiden since 1980. St. Stephen's wins in the series was 1980 at St. and then 95, 07, 09, and 11 at Maiden. So that'll be a great game tonight. That's 7:30 right here in Maiden. That Newton and Hickory game, that'll be on WNNC radio. West Lincoln and Ford. West Lincoln 2-0. The Tigers at 0-2. I want to say that Ford's on a 16-game losing streak. That's the Battle of Plateau going on. That'll be at West Lincoln, 7:30. Maiden product, Michael Ramsford, new head coach at Fred T. Ford. They've played 32 times since 1980 and each has won 16 games. They did not meet a year ago. West Lincoln has won 2 straight at home over the Tigers, and Ford has not won in Vail since 2014, 42-28. I'll tell my one Fred T. Ford West Lincoln story. I've told it before, but I'll tell you again. The year was 1976-77, my junior year in high school. We were not very good. Fred T. Ford was on Chris may have to correct me, Fred T. Ford was on somewhat of a losing streak, 55, 56, 57 games, something like that. As I said, we were not very good. We had to play Ford. I was just wanting Ford to break the streak on somebody before we played them, and they did. They broke the streak on Bunker Hill. They broke the longest losing streak in the state at that time, in a win over Bunker Hill. They picked up their second win over West Lincoln. We went 0-10 my junior year. Had some internal problems with some players on the team. Won't get any detail there. But that's one of those Ford memories that I've got. But West Lincoln, I think, dominates that series nonetheless. Richie said he bets that there's a lot of teams that have a losing record at Maiden. I always said Maiden at home, especially in the old stadium, that was good for a win. And Tom was good for another one. Tom Brown, usually good for another one. Ford is 7-8 in games played at West Lincoln since 1982. It'll be drawn at East Burke. Of course, I took West Lincoln in that one. Took Maiden in the St. Stephen's game. Drawn at East Burke. Took Drawn. Drawn's looking pretty good. That'll be on Kicks Country, 103.3 out of Lenore. Drawn at East Burke, 7:30. Drawn's 2-0. East Burke 1-1. West Caldwell looking for a win, and High Brighton looking for a win, which is really, really, I guess, unusual for High Brighton. High Brighton, a long time ago, was not very good, but in recent years, in the last 10, 15, 20 years, they've been pretty darn good. The Warriors are on a 13-game losing streak, and they could be moving on from that. They played 42 times, High Brighton and West Caldwell. But the Panthers have a stranglehold on the series 26-6. Last time West Caldwell won was in 2002. For those of you that don't know, West Caldwell came online in my senior year, 77-78. That was the old Gamewell Collettsville. When I was in high school, 2 of my years in high school, we played Gamewell Collettsville. Now, when they became West Caldwell, we did not play them. The other team up there in the Caldwell schools, South Caldwell, that was the old Granite Falls. We used to play Granite Falls for sophomore and junior year. Senior year, they became South Caldwell. We did not play them after that. West Caldwell, High Brighton. I'm going to take High Brighton in that one. Bunker Hill at North Iredell. The Bears are 2-0. North Iredell 0-2. North Iredell was pretty good last year, but it has fallen off quite a bit. And I took the Bears in that one. That one is at North Iredell. Freedom at Forest View. Freedom's 1-1. Forest View's 0-2, and I actually took Forest View in this one. That one was a tough one to call because Freedom, I'm just not sure. Freedom is struggling a little bit, and I just wasn't sure what to think of them. Let's see. Joe said Maiden versus Watauga was a fantastic game. Tell you another game that's going to be a fantastic game. I think it's next week, Joe, or the next. Watauga's got to travel to Burns. That will be a game. Watauga and Burns will be a game. Lincoln Pauly, good morning to you, sir. Milton saying we went 0-30 for Milton's 3 years at West Lincoln. What years were those, Milton? You're younger than I am. West Caldwell versus High Brighton, a.k.a. the black and blue game. Both those teams struggling a little bit, but, yeah, you're right, Joe. It is the black and blue game. Hickory Hawks, that's a homeschool team. They play at South Caldwell. Both those teams are 1-1. They played last season in Hudson. Spartans won 20-12 on that game. I want to say I took South Caldwell in that one. AC Reynolds and Alexander Central. That will be a good one. Alexander Central head coach Butch Carter is unofficially a win away from 150 for his career. I'll be honest. It'll be a great game, but I took AC Reynolds in that one. I'd go with AC Reynolds. Watauga, Mitchell County. That's a 4A against a 1A, if I'm not mistaken. Mitchell is a 1A school, maybe a 2. And that one tonight, that's up in Mitchell County. That's Watauga at Mitchell. East Lincoln at Lincoln. That's our broadcast game on WLON. David Keever, Michael Powell have the call on that game. Took East Lincoln with that. They're 2-0. East Lincoln looks really good. Not taking anything away from David Bird and his Wolves. Going to be a little hard for them to handle East Lincoln, I believe. North Lincoln at Northwest Cabarrus. Northwest Cabarrus is 1-1. I looked at who they played, was not impressed, and I'm surprised North Lincoln is 0-2. So I took North Lincoln in this. The teams played last year in Pumpkin Center, and North Lincoln was a 54-40 win last year. I'm still taking North Lincoln in that one. South Iredell at West Iredell. That's 2-0 South Iredell versus 0-2 West Iredell. That's a 7:30 kick. Statesville at Lake Norman. Statesville's pretty darn good, but Lake Norman, you're talking that's their 3A now. They used to be 4A. No, they're still 4A, I guess. They just moved in a different league. Statesville, pretty good, but I think Lake Norman will be a little too much for them to handle. Let me take a time out. We come back. Bill Bender will join us. We'll talk some college football, including a little wrap-up of last night's game and preview of what's coming this weekend. We're back in a moment.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call 4 Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back. Glad to have you here on a Friday morning, 2nd of September. A little cooler weather here. We'll head straight to our phone lines and bring our weekly guest on, Bill Bender, Sporting News. Good morning to you, sir.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Doing great. We'll jump right in it here. Desmond Howard, if he expects those Pitt Panthers to make it into the Final Four, they're going to have to play better than they did last night. Not taking anything away from West Virginia, but that was a great game to start college football out with.
And another reason why those two should play more often.
Yeah.
Obviously, emotions were high. Quarterbacks played well. You know, I'm one of those guys. I appreciate the winners, obviously, but you feel for guys like JT Daniels, who went out there, stood in the pocket, took a beating all night, even right down the end, threw one on the money there. He put it the only place he could, and the ball hit the turf. But what a great way to start the season. Like you said, there were two really good games there between that and Penn State-Purdue.
Yeah, and I didn't realize till watching the pregame last night, they're only 70 miles apart as the crow flies.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we know that up here in Ohio, that those two don't like each other, and you could hear it.
Yes.
On that pick six, I was saying that you couldn't hear the play-by-play because that stadium got so loud. I mean, the emotions were high, obviously. A lot of fun to watch. That's why we love college football, games like that.
I was hoping to be able to flip around a little bit, catch a couple other games just to watch a few folks, but I couldn't quite turn that one off because it was so close. You referenced a minute ago Penn State and Purdue. Who does that say more about? That was just a 35-31 win for the Nittany Lions. Who does it say more about?
Purdue should have closed the door on that. They had a lead there and the ball, and they didn't take it. They didn't run the ball. They kind of kept throwing, and you got to give Sean Clifford credit. He was taking a beating on social media. He's obviously been there forever at Penn State. Their freshman running backs took a minute to get going, but that's a game in the past that honestly, Penn State probably could have lost that pretty easily. But got to give them credit. They get it together. They get the win and go to 1-0. They play my alma mater next week, and for Penn State, I still think there's questions, especially about that the defense, but a big win for them and a missed opportunity for Purdue.
Honestly, Penn State's one of those teams that you don't really think or talk a whole lot about anymore, which is kind of surprising and sad.
Yeah, with James Franklin, I mean, obviously the last two seasons have been kind of like last night, really up and down. Mm-hmm. When they're down, it's down. They do have a talented secondary, and they got some talented guys on that offensive side. But we'll find out in a couple weeks against Auburn. They got to go down there. If they beat Ohio next week and then beat Auburn, they'll be 3-0 and they'll probably be ranked again.
Let's jump ahead to Saturday. NC State, 13th ranked. They travel down to Greenville, North Carolina, take on ECU. That's another one of those backyard brawls that those two teams really don't like each other. Big expectations for NC State.
Yeah, and not a cupcake there. East Carolina's a talented football team, has come a long way in a couple years in their rebuild. And said it, last two trips there, NC State's lost. So, yeah, you don't want to I always say you don't want glass in your cupcakes, that's for sure. And this is by no means a cupcake. So, part of a fun weekend, high expectations for NC State. I do think they're going to win the game with Devin Leary and a very talented team that brings back a lot of starters from last year. Appears to be the second highest interest team or interest game for the weekend, all the way up in Boone, where North Carolina will travel to take on App State. Now, the other game that's probably got higher marks as far as interest is concerned, of course, is Notre Dame and Ohio State. But this one has a lot going for it. One of our listeners, Richie, said if App wins, it'll be close, maybe 3 points. If Carolina wins, it'll be double-digit. What's your thoughts? Well, I mean, North Carolina could win a single-digits game. I think they got their footing under them last week. I like, some people might say, hey, here's an upset, and it's going to happen. But I think it's one of those games where North Carolina last week got their foot under them. Drake May is going to, get back at it. He had a nice game as the starting quarterback last week, and I think the Tar Heels pull this one out. So, but another fun game. Two really fun games there in North Carolina this weekend between those two.
And talking about that Ohio State Notre Dame game, can you believe it's a 17-point spread for two teams in the top 5?
Yeah, and as I said, they continue to dare people to take Notre Dame now. That spread opened at 13, and it just keeps swelling and swelling and swelling, and it's now at 17.5. I'm taking the Irish with points there. I mean, I don't think they're going to win the game, but I mean, any time. This is a game between top 5 teams.
Yeah.
So when you have those, if it's going to be a blowout at that point, it better be a pretty compelling blowout.
Well, and that's the whole thing. After last year, Oregon snuck up on Ohio State. Don't think that it happens again, but it's still surprising to see a 17-point spread for two top 5 teams. I guess that's the amazing thing. Now, Oregon, speaking of the Ducks, they roll into Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, take on number 3 Georgia. The Ducks are 11. Georgia is number 3. There again, I don't think the Ducks are sneaking in and slipping up on anybody this year.
No, and I think they'll cover too. Georgia lost 15 guys to the NFL. I mean, and the Ducks still have a pretty talented team. And the new coach and Dan Lanning obviously are trusting Bo Nix here, and that could go in a lot of directions. But he's not going to act surprised at Georgia. He's seen them for a couple years, and I think it's going to be a fun game too. I like Georgia in that one. I think they win by 12-ish. 12, 14 points, but you're giving me 17 points on these games that are top 10 caliber teams. You gotta trust the underdog a little bit.
Oh yeah, no, I agree 100%. Now, yesterday I heard we're talking with Bill Bender from Sporting News. I heard an interview yesterday with Luke Fickell, head coach at Cincinnati. Number 23 Cincinnati travels to Arkansas at number 19. Everybody's saying they're hoping Cincinnati was not a one-hit wonder. Can they keep the momentum going?
I mean, they can. It's a tough assignment Saturday at Fayetteville, breaking in that many new guys. But the spread being that low, I think, is a tribute to Luke Fickell and what he's been able to accomplish there in Cincinnati. I think his program building is tremendous. And Cincinnati may not be as good as last year, but maybe they will be. I mean, that would be – I think they'll be the best team in their conference, or right there with Houston at the very least. And like I said, just a tough assignment going to Fayetteville. Kendall Briles, KJ Jefferson, exciting Arkansas team, and I think the Razorbacks win that game.
Utah, a lot of expectation for the Utes. They're ranked number 7. They travel into Ben Hill Griffin Stadium in Gainesville to take on the Gators. Can the Gators kind of spoil that season, or are they ready yet?
We'll find out. I mean, that's one, if you were picking an upset, I might go with that one because of the talent, because of the weather, because of the Anthony Richardson factor. I mean, Utah could just as easily beat them, but this is Billy Napier's opener. he's created some excitement around that program. He has about 100 assistant coaches, at least in that photo. So, I mean, yeah, it's going to be a fun game, and I think we'll see how they do.
Final question, Sunday. I've said this over and over. It's unbelievable. These two teams are matched up prime time, and neither one is ranked. Florida State takes on LSU. Which one of these teams makes it into the top 25 first?
Probably LSU. I think LSU is going to win that game. You know, a lot of people are trying to just preemptively rip on Brian Kelly here. If they lose, it'll be a tone setter because of the way he left Notre Dame for LSU, because of how much he's been paid, because of a lot of the social media stuff that's happened since with his accent and the videos and the easy ways to criticize Brian Kelly. But that's, as you know, Lanny, college football is about fit.
Mm-hmm.
They want people to fit, and you know what? The best way to fit would be to win. I always tell people Nick Saban isn't from Alabama. He's from West Virginia, but he fits just fine because they win.
Mm-hmm. One final, my Tigers play on Monday night, just so I can get on record here early in the season. I do some calls with Rob Long up in Baltimore on the Fan, and he's a South Carolina fan. He knows I'm a Clemson guy, and then we always talk Carolina Panthers is usually when I go on the show with him. He asked me, he said, is Clemson a national championship contender this year? And I said, at this point, I've got to say no. Too many question marks. Two brand new coordinators, even though they came from the staff, they still are brand new at the coordinating side. And the quarterback position is still something I've got to see vast improvement from last year. Now, are they a top 10 team? Absolutely. I'm just not sure they're ready to compete for a national title this year till we get into the season. Your thoughts?
We'll find out. And that's, and the good news is they should be a lot better than they were last year on defense, because they're going to be healthy. They got Brian Versey back. They should be pretty good on offense with, when they figure it's going to be, whether or not they're a national championship contender is really going to depend on the quarterback and how that offense moves the ball with a new offensive coordinator. And, I think they're obviously good enough to win the ACC, and, I picked them to reach the playoff, but when you get to the playoff, you're probably going to bump into an Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State, and that won't be easy.
Yeah. Bill Bender, Sporting News. I appreciate the time, sir, and look forward to talking with you again next week.
Hey, sounds good. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it. And that's Bill Bender from Sporting News getting his perspective in. I'm going to take a quick break, come back, and then we'll wrap up. I got some things I got to get out and get done back in a moment.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver, or visit MooneyInsurance.com.
Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back. Appreciate Bill coming on with us as he does each week. That was the infamous Charlie Walker on that spot he does for times, and I just had a chance to see Charlie this week. Had some work done on an amplifier, power amp he had, and he came up. We got to chit-chat. We go back a few years, but I appreciate Charlie. All the great people I've met in radio over the years is kind of amazing. Let me go back, looking at my comments. Richie asked me, does East and West play next week? And I told him no. East and North are now 3A schools because Lincoln County School Board doesn't like what I think about how to do schools. West Lincoln enrollment is down because it's not growing at the rate of the others. I've always said you just shift the lines. You move the lines because you're going to wind up building more resources in eastern Lincoln County with resources sitting empty up in the western end. But, hey, they think you do it. They think people recommend that because it's about sports, but it's not. That's not what it's about. My understanding is for them to pick up East or North, they would have to drop Cherryville and Ford, and probably from a gate standpoint, Cherryville and Ford are better draws than East and North would be my guess. Let's see. Richie said he'll take whatever win Carolina can get. They went 0-6 on the road last year. That needs to change. But Mac is back. That's the thing you have to remember. Mac is back. How much did the Tar Heels pay the team last week so they didn't have to open up against App State? Richie said $450K. How is Virginia Tech going to do this year? Maybe 500, maybe a little better. You know, they just can't quite get things exactly fixed up there, and they don't have a cupcake schedule. Rich said the structure of the App contract for Carolina was interesting to see. App got $350 to come to Chapel Hill in 2019. App's going to give Carolina $200,000 for tomorrow's game. When App comes back to Chapel Hill in 3 years, App will get $850,000. Rich said, I still think that all county schools should play each other. Playing North and East would only be two of their outside conference games. I agree, but it's just one of those things that where do you draw the line? And it's about gates because you don't get any money. You know, now Catawba County, that's pretty well one of those things. I think they have to fill their in-county rivals first before they can look outside. if you kept the schools the same in classification, you wouldn't have to worry about they'd be in the same conference. But that would be way too easy, just way, way too easy. Let me run down the schedule again before I jump out of here. Newton and Hickory. That's Newton at Hickory. You can catch that game on WNNC. St. Stephen's at Maiden. You've got Fred T. Ford at West Lincoln, the Battle of Plateau. Drawn at East Burke. That game will be on Kicks 103.3. You've got West Caldwell at High Brighton, Bunker Hill at North Iredell, Freedom at Forest View, Hickory Hawks at South Caldwell, AC Reynolds at Alexander Central, Watauga at Mitchell, East Lincoln at Lincolnton. That'll be our game of the week on WLON. David Keever, Michael Powell will have that call for you. 7 o'clock airtime, 7:30 is kickoff. And then North Lincoln at Northwest Cabarrus. North Lincoln will be on the road this year in the varsity level because of stadium construction. I think they're doing something different with the JVs. Wayne Howard called me. We was trying to figure it out. Nobody's told us what the JVs are doing, but I think they actually played at Lincolnton last night because Lincolnton was away, so they didn't have to give both games to Northwest Cabarrus. South Iredell at West Iredell, Statesville at Lake Norman. That's your games that you've got for tonight. Hope you have a great weekend, Labor Day weekend. Be here Monday morning. I know Juju's going to join me. He'll be in studio on Monday morning. The boys will be here in the morning, 8 to 10, to wrap up all the action from last night, break down the college games that are coming up. Have a great Labor Day weekend. Nice weather, not quite as hot, maybe some thunderstorms. From what I saw this morning, there's no 90-degree weather in the next 10 days. Guess what? I'll take that because fat people like me don't like hot weather. Have a great Labor Day weekend, guys. Be safe. I'll see you back here again Monday morning, bright and early. Have a good one.